Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. इसे गुरु कृपा केवलम. I have often said that kevalam is a beautiful word there. You see? Means only is. So this only is. If you look and check and you see, okay, everything is God's grace or Master's grace, except, or except if something was to happen, that would not be Master's grace. So all of us can do an audit like this and check. It's a very good way to check on what we are still attached to, what we are still identified with. Everything would be Master's grace, God's grace, except this should not be. And from point to point in our life, this keeps changing. And that is the nature of our identity. So now for spiritual seekers it might be everything is Master's grace, everything is fine, except if I don't get freedom. Oh, you see, and it changes. Like if you're a student like him, it might be everything is Master's grace except if I fail or if I don't get a job. You see, we used to have this like this in our life, that important thing was not to fail in school. And then it became except I should not lose this relationship, except I should not lose this job, except I should not find freedom. So what do you exempt from the Sadguru's grace?
It's a bit difficult to point that out, but I was actually just thinking about this weekend, you know, like what would happen.
You're thinking on the weekend?
Excuse me, Master.
We have more Satsang politically correct way of saying like, I was contemplating this deeply.
Oh yeah.
Or I had a feeling.
You understand, that is what
You're just
I meant.
saying thinking.
Yes.
But, in a more Satsang way.
Yeah.
So what were you thinking about?
I was thinking about that something else came up, which I think I would it would be really difficult for me to say, oh yeah, Guru Kripa Kevalam. But I think the essence of why Guru Kripa Kevalam works, because it's like I just so much believe that it must be for my good. So the me is still there, and in the end it's good, even now it's miserable. Okay, I'm still. But this is like this is kind of in this thing.
Yeah. So you feel like there is a greater force that is taking care of you in this way. You may not recognize it now, but you feel like ultimately it is for your good. Is it like that?
Well, I know there's a greater force because it's in a way obvious, and I just really hope it takes good care, so there's nothing left, you know. So,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
In Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharishi at one point said that everything will be all right by the end. Simpler way of saying it all works out. It all works out.
I think it's also dropping off all the efforts and all the knowledge.
Yeah.
Sometimes of it, we
Yeah.
don't know what to do or what, where to go.
Yeah.
So in that sense, there is no therefore.
Yes.
Because everything,
Yes.
that also is not necessary.
Yes. 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 That's what I'm usually saying, truth for truth's sake, and whether how things turn out. But sometimes I know that this fear can be really strong for us. But I hope it's all good for me, or it all works out in the end. And in a way it does, because the me for whom it could be there is not going to survive till the end. It's not going to be the one who can judge as bad or not right or something like this, is not going to stick around till the end anyway.
Promise.
Yes, 100% promise.
It's the only thing to hang on. Why to hang on to Guru Kripa Kevalam, I feel. So in the end, at least this me drops. Who's hanging on? You
Yeah.
know.
It's quite. So the me hangs on, believing that in the end the me will drop.
Me suffering of the me, so the me wants to get rid of the me. Yes.
Me is suffering from the me. Yeah, it can feel like that. Yeah.
Can I add something? Because it has been quite clear to me this weekend that you're talking about half surrendering. I don't know what expression you used already, but it's like you still have one eye open and you say, okay, I surrender, but just make sure that it's gonna turn out nice.
My way.
Yeah. And I really feel, because there is obviously a big desire, let's say, to offering everything. But so in the meantime, as it's getting more and more alive, this desire, I can see also the counter effect, and that I'm scared. Yesterday I saw a beautiful video from Guruji on Sahaja Express, and he was saying to one guy, maybe you can make this prayer at the beginning of the day. And okay, you get in silence, you empty yourself, and you just say to God, okay, this is your day, this is your day. And so this is how I started. And yeah, it's funny because during the day I saw things that, for instance, at some point I got angry at something, But thinking about it, I feel you know, it's not okay. Even it's an expression of consciousness also. You know, it's okay. There is nothing to be guilty about or anything. But yeah, the thing that I wanted to say is really this fear and this a little bit resistance, you know, of offering everything. And
sorry, this bug was at your feet.
Say the last part again. Was there something I missed?
Yeah. So I feel, I don't know. I feel that. Yeah, I feel the resistance, you know, of giving myself up completely, whatsoever this I is, and whatever this I is. But I really want to give everything, to offer everything, and even if it's not so easy from that perspective, you know, with those beliefs and stuff, if you can just take everything and just, you know, empty. And because I'm still in the region of the mind, you know, and the personal identity, and I had glimpses of, you know, thanks to Puriti's grace, I had glimpses of so much love, so much beauty, and I would like to, you know, just.
I'm wondering if they can hear anything. You can increase the volume.
Increase the volume of my prayer.
If there was no past,
Yes.
then okay, you're here now. Okay? Now suppose you got one thing mixed up, which is that everything that you feel was in the past is actually going to happen in the future, and everything that you want in the future has actually happened in the past. Then how would it be?
The same.
Exactly. So what are you now?
The same.
This now can only ever be like this, isn't it? And if something is missing here right now, it can never be gotten. If something is missing here right now, it can never be gotten. How's that? So what is missing here now? Nothing is missing. And I could say this at any point of time. You have to admit, you have to make a presumption that time exists first. Suppose.
Presumption that?
Time exists
Oh, yeah.
to be able to say this, that you could still, and even if it does exist, you could always say this. If something is missing here now, that something will never come. If the truth is missing here now, that truth will never come. The only place to look for it in a way is just this right now. If you keep searching for it in the ghosts of past and future, then it's just going to be a mirage. That's about it.
Isn't this also like when Guruji said that he when he had to feel that surrender that I'm going to become a beggar. I mean, it's just this fear that I'm going to need food and I need money. I mean,
Okay, we come back to that point in a minute, but more importantly what I was saying is that if it is not here now, then it's never going to come. That is a mirage. That so-called freedom, that so-called self, that so-called truth. Did I say that? So, so don't wander off into past and future. What's here now? Give yourself this gift. No storification, not even spiritual storification. Just now. If it is not here now, then all this satsang, all of this is a sham. All of this is a waste of time. If there is something to this, it must be apparent now. If there is something to this, it must be apparent now. Don't go with what you think. Don't interpret even your feelings. Just stay with what you see. What is that song? You can sing it later, or if you remember, sing it now. Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Yeah. It's a nice one. You see, the ocean is here. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Some special experiences, something. How many of you still feel like, what's the big deal about what is here right now? What does he keep pointing to it again and again? The truth is apparent right now. The self is here right now. You see, you know the complete freedom and truth in this very moment. You see? How many of you still feel, yeah, maybe for him, but nobody?
Yes, I feel.
Yeah.
There is something more that you know, that you feel, you know.
Okay, so let's look at that. This is something I'm really happy to speak about. You can say, Father, this is what I see, without your additional labels of what you think you experience, as straight as possible. You see, as straight as possible, because in words you will have to use some label, but just like the coconut is green, that extent label. Not like green coconuts are sweet, I want sweet, and this kind of stuff. Just very straightforward. What is your experience right now?
There is a man sitting on a chair.
Man is label.
What? Coconuts also labeled.
Okay, let's keep it even simpler. There are some perceptions seen. How is that?
Forms.
Yeah, forms. Okay.
It's okay.
Well, it's lighter. Everything is labeled, like I said. But is it possible, or we have to work at that level, that man, woman, like that, or is it possible to go one layer
Yes.
below that and say, okay,
Something that's moving.
that's okay. Something is moving, and
Sound.
yes,
Feeling of temperature.
yeah,
Body.
yeah.
So sound there, sound here.
Sound there, sound here, some sensations, and you took some of those sensations and called that set the body, I'm presuming. Like some sensations are not the body and some sensations are.
Yes.
Okay, so you made that distinction. Possible to be without that? I'm just asking. They're sensations. The sensations apparently, okay, you said some seem over there, some seem over here, and these are the body. You see? So we took some that were apparently here, and we said that was the body. But we could have left it as just sensations, isn't it?
Okay.
Possible or not?
Yes.
Okay. So some sensations, you see? Yeah. Then what else?
Yeah. Thoughts.
Yeah. What are these thoughts?
You mean the content of the thoughts, or what are the thoughts?
What are they? They are another group of sensations, or what are they?
Hey, I don't know how to describe those things.
This would be worthwhile.
It seems
check.
that there is a thought, and then the mouth is saying something.
Yeah, so there's some noise which is coming apparently
Yeah.
from here, some noise which we've called sensation, body, all this. Let's all call it all sensations or noise or whatever. You see? Now, when you say thoughts, is it another type of sensation or what is it? Wait for the next one to come and just you can watch it and tell me what it is. Is it like a voice? Is it like some visual? How you perceive your thoughts?
So I'm trying. For instance, if I say I don't know, where do I get this I don't know from?
Yeah, so just look at that. Just give yourself that time. We are nothing else that I would rather do. Give yourself that time and see if you can notice in what way these thoughts are perceived. Do you hear it as sound? Do you see it as visual?
Maybe a sentence.
A sentence? Where? As viewed.
Yeah.
You see? So here many times these thoughts come and they come like this. They seem to flow like this. For some they come like this. For some they just hear, they're like, what are you talking about? I don't see any sentence like that. You see? They just like hear some sound. You see? So in your case, how is it? In your case, how would you say it is?
Sometimes it can be images, but it's funny. because where are they projected? You know,
Yeah.
even this question that
Yeah.
I just asked, where did it come from?
Yes. Yes. So all these sensations are being experienced.
Mhm.
You see? Now, would you say that where thoughts are perceived, that space is different from where these sensations are perceived?
No,
It is not different.
no, it's the same.
So why that question, especially for thoughts? Then where are they even projected? Where is all this projected?
Yeah, I've just seen a projector, but
Yeah.
where I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so all these projections are there, sensations are there, and we have various terms for various set of sensations. You see, like pain and pleasure. If we call these sensations these terms, then we can say, okay, body experience these sensations. Then the world is what we visually perceive in audio, this way, that we call the world. Thoughts we call a certain type of thing, energy construct, which has a message. You see, has the message. So all of these sensations are there. What else is there right now?
Well, consciousness.
How is that perceived?
I have no idea.
And no idea, and yet consciousness was it just a conceptual answer?
No, it's totally felt.
Totally felt. So it is perceived as a feeling.
It's aware. I don't know. I feel it's a feeling. Yeah.
You feel it's a feeling. What is the quality of it? Like feelings have quality, like anger,
Yes.
bliss, joy, all of these feelings.
Yes.
You see, they have certain qualities, and they have one more thing, which is intensity. They seem to have this qualitative intensity sometimes. You see, sometimes like that. What about this consciousness?
No intensity.
No intensity.
Yeah.
You see? So there's no regulator. Sometimes you are more am, sometimes you are less am. You see? This is not there.
Just I can say that sometimes more focus is on awareness,
Yeah.
so it feels more prominent, but it's never less.
Yes. So for this conversation, I'm presuming that you're using the terms consciousness and awareness interchangeably, which is fine by me. It's fine,
So
completely fine.
in French,
Huh?
there is only one word for consciousness. There is no word for awareness.
There's no word for awareness.
No, I
I
have
see.
no idea
Okay.
of the difference between.
Maybe it's a good thing. It's okay. It's okay.
What is the difference between consciousness and awareness?
Consciousness, in the way we use it usually, but I'm a bit tired of all these definitions myself, as you know. But usually, how it is used in satsang is the sense of being. I amness is consciousness, and that which is aware even of this, you see, and yet empty of even the sense of being or presence or, you see, even existence. You see, that is called awareness or the self. But it's okay. You don't have to be this way or that way.
You know, about all this story,
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
I cannot see any difference between, the sense of existing. Okay, I know I exist,
Yeah.
and I'm aware.
It
I
is
exist.
usually used for the sense of what comes when we call that waking state, you see, or dream state, as opposed to sleep state. You see, what wakes up. That which wakes up and then dissolves when sleep state comes. You see, that is usually called being, consciousness.
Okay, so consciousness goes to sleep.
in a way, in this definition.
Okay.
They also, in Vedanta many times they have terms consciousness and then they have the term pure consciousness, which is unchanging, or how we would say awareness. It's okay, it's all language, so don't have to worry about any of that. So, all these sensations, all these perceptions are here now. Okay? What witnesses them?
Something that I cannot describe.
That's something which is indescribable. How intimate is it to you?
It's no different.
It's not different.
Not different.
Not different at all. Does it undergo any sort of change?
No.
Is it affected by any appearance that might come? Any feeling, any perception? If the mind is really loud, is that touched by it?
No.
If there is just openness, spaciousness, nothing seems to resist anything, is that touched by it? Who is aware of this one?
Is there something aware of this?
That's what I'm asking. Is there something aware of this? Okay, let's put it that way.
I cannot step. I cannot go one step. I don't feel that I can go one step behind or
Yeah.
to see that.
Mm.
I feel that's the ultimate thing.
So all this is still from what you see now, isn't it?
Yes.
So if there is no difference between this, which has no further behind, nowhere to go, all spatial, in fact, boundaries, all these ideas don't make sense anymore over there, isn't it? Is there still front and behind for it?
No.
Is there any time, some change, something? Is there any intention or desire? Is there anything you can say which captures it completely?
No.
Is there any way to get out of this? And is all of this just so straightforward and apparent now?
What is the question, sir?
Isn't all of this quite apparent to you now?
Yes.
Is there a but still there?
No, because even if there is a but, it's not touching this.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Is there anyone else here which could be you except this, as you said?
I would say yes.
Which is?
Because this is my feelings, which would be, I don't know, connected to this body.
Yeah, so we said a set of sensations is there, which you call the body.
Yes.
So you feel like something inhabits that, or you feel like what are you saying about these sensations, which you're not saying about other sensations?
Okay, so maybe because I'm used to see through his body,
Yeah.
you know, this, and I don't see that from your perspective. And when you speak, I feel it's not coming from.
Okay, with that, that's going a bit far. Let's come back to our simplicity. No, we said we speak only from what we'll see, what we're seeing,
Yes, yes,
without adding any
Okay, okay.
interpretation on top. So you are saying that because I asked you, is there, besides this which you find so untouched, unchanging, all of the Advaita attributes in a way are naturally present for this. I said, is there something else which you feel like could be you? Is it? And you singled out one set of sensations. And I'm just asking, how come just that set of sensations from what you see? Is there just sensationally, inherently, is there a set of sensations which are automatically you and another which is not you?
There is a bit of a doubt,
Yeah.
a question, you know, that's arising.
Yeah.
And then I can see that this can be
Yeah.
believed in
Yeah.
quite quickly.
Yeah. But that's just a layer of interpretation. You're saying just from the perceiving of it, what makes any set of sensations specially you and another not you?
My conditioning.
No, just from the seeing of it, just from the perception of it.
So this could be me.
I'm saying what makes something you or not you? Automatically, as something is perceived, does something become you and something become not you without any interpretation?
It's not even me or you. Yeah, it's not that clear.
This is worth checking. This is worth checking out. Whether a set of sensations automatically have the claim that it is me, and another set of sensations automatically have the claim not me or outside or something. Which sensation are you experiencing now which could have that claim that it is you? Can you single out some sensation which is like, this is me, automatically?
Inside the body.
So some movement, some feeling, something like that? What is it?
The heart pumping.
The heart is pumping and organically it is you without interpretation, just like it is experienced. You see? Is the sound of this voice automatically not you and the heart pumping sensation is you automatically? You see? So hear this sound now and see how this is not you and another sensation which you said earlier is in the same space, how that becomes you. You see, this sound is here, I'm going on speaking so you can hear it, and then and then there's some other sensations. So what divides this sensation and that sensation? They both experience in the same, to use the term, space. So what is the dividing line? And any sound for that matter, or any taste, any visual, everything. If something inherently deserves the claim me, you see, then we can say finally we found it. You see? Finally we found the person we were looking for.
It's just one thought after another.
It's just thoughts. You see, that's why I said okay. Because thoughts keep changing, thought sometimes says this, thought sometimes says that. That's not really worth giving credibility to. What do we actually see? Even now, as the sensations are being experienced, body movements, sensations, all of this is being experienced. Do these sensations inherently have the sense me, or even the sense not me? Either way.
What I know is even when there are those sensations, it is seen from a deeper place that
Yes.
is not touched.
Yes. But that which sees, that which is aware, is not making a judgment that I am deeper. It just is. And that which is appearing is not inherently shallow or something like that. You see, even these distinctions are just notions on top of it. Is it? That which is aware, at what distance is it aware of that which it is aware of? How far is it from that sensation itself?
They appear at the same time. It's not that consciousness is appearing, but yeah, they go together. I don't know how to say. They are not separate.
So let's come back to what I was asking. I was saying that if the truth is not here now, then all of this is a sham, is a waste. See? And then we checked, and what did you find? It is.
It was here before, it's here now.
Yes. It just is.
But at the same time, this is here.
This is not different from that in a way. That's what I was saying, that the deeper, shallow, all the distinctions need notions, isn't it? What is inherently here? Is this saying that this is not that, or is that saying I am not this? You see, why I have to say like that is because sometimes we may have the tendency to visualize. We may visualize like a empty space, and then okay, then this world, is it like that? But that awareness, you see, can it be localized in that way, like separate from this or something? So although in satsang we do use the term, sometimes we might say this is happening in front of, or things like this, but they're not to be taken too literally. Otherwise we can make a painting, you see. One side awareness, one side the world or something. So there are representations like that in spirituality, like statues of half Shiva, half Parvati, you know? Yin Yang, these kind of representations, but these are not to be taken too literally. Otherwise we'll make spatial considerations about even that which is not in space.
If there is not, so then there is like there's no. If you just leave every interpretation, everyone,
Yes.
then there's no apparent me. There's no separation between. All of it is just seems like one
Yes.
thing happening.
Yeah. But even that one is a interpretation.
No, not like
in a
one.
way.
I mean, it just is. It's just.
If you don't interpret anything,
Yeah, anything.
don't judge anything as this or that,
Mhm.
then
it's just silence.
But that's also a judgment. Silence is the opposite of noise.
No, not like that silence. It's like
Which other type? That which can only be tasted and not spoken.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I don't know what you're saying. I mean, like when you said that like, you know, you said when she says that this consciousness is a feeling, and you said, does it have an intensity? I mean, and look, it doesn't have an intensity.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have any describable quality
Yes.
at all. And if I move the mind off, I mean, then this sense of this feeling that, you know, the body sense felt more real than your voice there. Then you looked at it, and it was also an interpretation that this sense was more
Yes.
than that one.
Yes.
And if you made that one also go away, and then what seemed apparent is just there's no distinction, and there's no apparent me as well. There's no separate me as distinct from something else, unless I say it, unless I make a me out of it. There isn't a special me here.
Yes.
But I'm still there. I mean, I can still perceive everything possible.
Yes.
All the perceptions are still happening.
Yes.
There doesn't need to be a special me to perceive them.
Yes.
And that's what's apparent when I don't make any distinction. But what does seem to happen after like 7-10 minutes of it is that I just start feeling like I'm going to sleep, or like a sense of sleep comes with that.
After 7 to 10 minutes.
Okay, whatever. You're like, you know, you're like being. Okay, that's also an interpretation.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, Simran says she has a question. She's still here? Yeah. Hello. It's okay. It's okay. Good to see you, my dear. I'm going to pause my video or my audio for a bit. I'm going to mute so we can hear you better that way. And then when it's my turn to speak, I'll put it back on.
Okay, so basically, I just had this presence, rather omnipresence is how I experience it. It's very much here. The person, the I, is just something that flickers on and off. And I'm giving increasingly less and less attention to that. And today I just had this thought, I'm not going to do anything until this state moves me, this thing greater than the I. Until that moves this body, I'm not going to do anything. So I was at home all day, nothing happened. I had dance class in the evening. I mentioned I'm a dancer. I didn't go. I didn't go to the gym. I normally work out a lot. I didn't leave the house. I didn't do anything. I didn't leave the sofa. I was just staring at the wall, staring outside. And that's all that happened. And there was a panic that I've just become I'm being lazy. I'm not utilizing myself. I'm not doing karma yoga. I'm not doing seva. I'm just being lazy, and this is all just a sham. Like that thought, not that it's a sham, but it can't be a sham because the omnipresence is it's very palpable and tangible. Like I can't deny that. But that it's like, now what? What is there to do? I can't keep living doing nothing like this, you know. Or when am I going to move and do something? Isn't exercise good? Isn't striving towards something good? Like these thoughts, the I thoughts, these thoughts that motivated the I in the past, all kind of came back and was scaring me. So I just wanted some light on that, please.
It's good, good, good. Happy to hear this report. In fact, it's very familiar with some of the experiments that happened here also. And it's funny how the mind comes and labels it. You see, you spent the whole day in presence, you see, and presumably at peace. And yet the mind came and said, but this is such a waste of time. You should be striving, you see. You should be doing stuff. In fact, when you spoke, you talked about the things you did. You were sitting around, you were staring, you did all of that, you see. So, in the waking state, there is no escape from activity, you see. But what you said is that I'm not going to be caught up in just this mind's desire to do this, to try and work this out this way, or achieve something. And if you ask the mind, okay, so if I achieve, and do all of this stuff which I'm supposed to do, then what am I supposed to get out of that? And the mind will say, then you can be at peace. You can be still, you can be just enjoy yourself. It might even say just chill or something, which seem like is what happened naturally. You see?
Yeah.
So if the promised benefits are at the end of this dark tunnel, you see, of striving, but actually you found that they're just here naturally, you see, what could be better than that? The other thing is that because we have this condition that sitting around is bad and working like a donkey on the treadmill or something like that is good, you see. So then it can be that you spend the whole day with God, but that is like the worst thing you could have done, you see. If you were to ask me, there's no greater gift you could have given yourself, you see. But to the mind, that is just a waste of time. Now, in what it wants to achieve, is there something greater than being with God, being with your own divine presence? You see, there isn't. If there isn't, is there something that the mind wants to achieve, which does not come and go, which will not go with the death of this body? You see, what will you keep for yourself out of your achievements? You see? So, whatever, if you have to win some awards, you have to make lots of money, you create a big name for yourself, they put statues of you all over the world, what is going to last your death? After you're gone, nobody is going to come back to you and say, I see, that statue is yours. Nobody will see this, you see. But what you are finding in this simplicity of just being is something which is unaffected by coming and going, by time, by space. You see? So this is a very beautiful exercise. And by the way, there is no guarantee that the exercise always works out this way. You see, it's very beautiful how it worked out. But on some days you might find that the presence is moving the body a lot. You see? So there is no saying that, okay, because this is how it happened today, this is how it just has to happen every day. And yet it is very natural and very nice for it to happen this way. In fact, this just sitting thing is very common. You hear a lot of the sages report, they will say after they just came to this place of rest, and for long periods of time they were just sitting. So with nothing to do, nowhere to go. So these mind judgments will not worry you so much. You see, because the mind will say, but go do something. But what could you do that is greater than being with God? You see, what is the greater use of this life than not spending it on something which is ephemeral, than being with that which is eternal? You see? I can't imagine a better use of life. Is it? I'm going to mute. I'm going to mute for a bit.
Thank you so much. I was just I'm just a bit scared because I'm not used to operating from this place, and I'm not used to operating without the I. The I has run my life this whole time, so it's terrifying. But I'm ready to jump into this void, to let it all go. I'm ready for that.
This is good. Now, the non-existent has never had any control ever. You see, it is just the same God. You see, the same being, the same consciousness, who has taken the role and the identity and posed as if, you see, it is the limited one, and it has been running life from that perspective. But now, being just wants to be, consciousness just wants to be conscious, God just wants to be God. You see? It doesn't want to play necessarily with the limitation of being just one object, you see, just one Simran. You see, it doesn't want to just be limited to that identity. You see, so this is another beautiful aspect of its own play. It played as if it is limited, and that was fine. And now it's playing as if it is beyond these limitations, and that is fine too. You see, don't even feel like you have to jump into something. Even let that be directed. You see? Don't even feel that this is what I want to do now. I just now want to be God, because that can also be a burden sometimes, in the sense of God pretending to be a person, then wanting God. You see, so that can be like a burdensome loop. Just in your natural existence, you are that.
No thought. No thought, just looking. No thought, just looking. No one looking.
This is very good, very good, very good. There is nothing to fear, nothing to fear. Only the Supreme Intelligence has run this life. When we say Guru Kripa Kevalam, it is not so much that now Guru's grace will run our life. It is just a recognition that only that is and always has been. So there is no reason to fear at all. And even if some sensation of fear is coming, then don't fear the fear coming. Let it be, let it come. Your space is that vast that all these can come and go, but you remain untouched by them. You see, it is naturally so. It is naturally so. So then, because if you start fearing the fear, then that can seem to have a multiplying sort of effect. You see. So just remain as open, as empty of all judgments as you have been today, and don't make any judgments about yourself, and don't say tomorrow that okay, yesterday was better, today is like this, or today is better. Just this thermometer, barometer, whatever measuring tape has no use here. So don't bother with it at all. Just simply open, empty, open, empty. You see? What I'm saying is that if there are some moments where you find yourself closed and back to some notion, some thought, some concept, then once that is seen, then don't pick up new concepts of guilt and unworthiness or something like that. Just become empty again. It's nothing. You see, you saw it and it's over.
Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Love you too. Thank you, my dear. it's good like this to just experiment, to play around with this thing, is it? Father, it all feels like a word play, especially when you give non-Advaitic answer to anyone. All Advaitic concepts fell apart, leaving me in the practical world. Yeah. All the words are wordplay, whether Advaita or non-Advaita, all are wordplay. So even this sort of duality between this and that. Okay, so then if this is true, then the opposite must be false. We've spoken about this often, you see. So all of these words are just meant to push you beyond words. You see? All these words are meant to push you beyond words. It is not that some words are more true than others or something like that. It can seem like some words can push you more, but all of that is dependent on your conditioning. Don't even make this distinction of practical world or true reality, all of these things. All of this is about forgetting words, in a way. There's so many words about forgetting words. It's not to give you a new dictionary. So which words can't you forget? And I've said that you can have one stick, one thorn. You see? That thorn can be anything. It can be Guru Kripa Kevalam, who am I, whatever you feel resonates with you in your heart. Because it sets fire to all the other words. The other day we were just playing this game where instead of saying it's just a thought, I was saying forget it. Forget it. It's just a notion. Forget it. Other here the sense I is like a bundle of thoughts, fragmenting the consciousness. So this sense I is like a bundle of thoughts. Bhagavan said the mind is just a bundle of thoughts. The good thing about this bundle is that you only deal with one at a time. It is like a mouth. It might speak fast, it might say lots of things. You see, it's only saying one thing at a time. You see? So instead of presuming that these are the things that I'm supposed to pick up now, which is the mind trying to tell you that this is what you're supposed to pick up now, if you just had the perspective, these are the things one by one that I'm just supposed to let go of, then the sticks are coming. You don't make a bundle. Let them come and go. Don't make a mind out of it, which is a bundle of thoughts. And forget the label mind also. All you have to deal with at a time is one thought. Easy. All you have to deal with at one time is just one thought. So in your openness, in your emptiness, let it come and go. If you start bundling them up, then you can call it mind. Then it becomes like a nemesis to deal with, or something like that. Is it? Such a beautiful pointing. Thank you, my dear. Then, Father, there is a thought which is saying there is another way of experiencing the truth / reality that is apparent right now, and I am not experiencing it in the right way. You see, this is just a thought, because you cannot mess this up as hard as you try. You cannot avoiding experiencing the truth right now for what it is. You see? Even the play as identity, even the play with limiting thought, you see, it's just nothing for it. You're still experiencing just the truth. You see, otherwise truth will also come and go. You see? So this is the guarantee. You cannot make a mess of this. The truth cannot not be apparent to you. And there is no way to it, because it is so naturally just. It just is, you see. That's why isness. It just is. You see? So always, all these things are just at best pointing to just what naturally is. You see? There is no right way, wrong way, and you cannot do this wrong. And don't try to make the apparent nature of this truth. Don't try to make it like a aha for the mind. You see, because if you just keep waiting for that aha, then you keep holding back on that. I see nothing. You see, I see nothing. I don't know what he is talking about. What truth? You see, like that. You just keep waiting for it to say, aha, that, yes, it is apparent. You see, like that. Don't wait for that certificate. You see. What is naturally here?
But for you it's apparent. Also for your mind it's apparent, no? Sorry.
It's more like that which was the limiting voice here, you see, has been seen through. And it is like just an intuitive voice which is usually speaking. Of course it is does have its 5 minutes of fame sometimes. But just this non-grasping sort of voice speaks usually, you see? And the one who wants or doesn't want, all of this kind of voice comes up once in a while, says hi, you know. You see?
It even sometimes rejects it. Oh, it's a
Say it loud.
It seems like when I felt like that openness and clarity and all, the mind rushes in, oh, this is no big deal.
Yes, of course. It will say no.
I've been here
Come
before.
on. Yeah. It's like that jealous friend.
Yeah.
Like, come. I'll show you better. Come. You see? This is no big deal. What's the big deal in now? You see? And then because you heard in Satsang that the truth is no thing or something like that, do you really just want nothing? You see? What's on offer here? You see? Come. Let's go recollect when we had that special experience with the 6 chakra was going through the roof or something like that. You see? It's like blue light was all over. What about that? You see? This kind of thing. So all these, it'll take you away from that substratum in which even that experience happened, you see, which is just so naturally present. And it is that very same supreme intelligence which gives light to all of these experiences, and plays with the mind, who's saying, no fun in this, come, let's go for different stuff, better stuff. You see something like that. Maybe imagine that you're actually talking to others who have not been in satsang. And they ask you, so what happened in satsang? And you just tell them, you just see the truth which is just naturally and completely apparent to you right now. Like, what? And why do we need to come to satsang? If it is apparent to me, why do I need to go to satsang? And what's so special about right now anyway? So this is like the mind. See, running after this and that more than just what is. All these objections you will feel.
Guruji said that 2 or 3 years ago in Rishikesh, like he answered to somebody like what you have said. He said basically the problem is you still want something from the mind. You want
validation.
This. Oh yeah, no.
Exactly.
Like this still. And it's true. But I still see it. Like I still want.
Yes.
Because else I'm kind of, in a way I know, but in a way also I don't believe. The same thing. So I don't know.
Yes. As you become less and less certain, of everything that you believe. The good thing is that this is like a beautiful forgetting or dissolution. It is not necessary that you have to come to a knowing of the truth or something like that to replace the false with the true. As you become less and less certain about that of which you are certain at the moment, that much is enough. What could be simpler than that? It is not that you need something new.
The me is very strong. Me and mine.
Yeah.
Very, very strong.
That's why Satsang Monday to in a way also to question this belief. In a way to also question this belief that it is very strong. Like we don't even know that for certain, do we? If it was so strong, it would last one moment, but it has not lasted this moment. Has it lasted this moment? Like right now. Don't think about it now. No. Not there. And yet I have a sense of what you say. That's why half this life goes in sharing satsang in a way.
So even when it is not apparent, when he says he believes, to the truth itself it's apparent.
Yes,
May not be
exactly. That's why there is no way to mess this up. And even if the self is playing as a limited entity, as the ego or whatever, it is just the play. That's why we call it the play anyway. It is no
ignorant or
there's no substantive difference actually. So the me is strong. Pakka?
What are you doing here? You have a good life. Go and enjoy.
And what would you do as enjoyment?
Go to another 5-star.
And wait for the waiter to come and order a margarita. And so then what will happen?
Laugh with unsatsangi friends.
How long before the gossiping starts?
No.
And the
years pass.
I think solitude also plays an important role in this. One needs to be alone. It helps as much as satsang. Because you don't know what influences you. Just like satsang influences you to go in the right direction, to understand, know the truth as it becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
Other things may influence you otherwise. In a different direction it may take you. So you cannot avoid it. The oneness should be so strong that you should ignore whether you want it or not other influence. So that is a state where the point of no return comes. Otherwise, you can be influenced easily. You influence so many people. They come here, 90% there, go back to 10%. Like somebody was talking about, people who are negative are able to influence more than those who are positive. It's simple. You say something bad about a person, there's a tendency in everybody to believe that person. Hey, this person is bad. You say something good, they say, okay, maybe possible. He may be good. He may have that good quality.
One of my masters used to say like this, that I could say I love you 100 times, and you could be like, yeah, he just says it to everyone. It's not a big deal.
I hate you, I dislike you.
I hate you. If I say it once, gone. He hates me. This is definitely the truth, you see. So it's the nature of the mind in a way what you shared, yes. To be attracted to that which seems like it's a judgment, is negative.
And a person who is arguing something negative is more vehement, is more forceful. It's very difficult to argue with him.
Yes.
And you have some good points on your side, something very positive, but you don't make a good case.
Yes. Especially expression like this one, which are so just like so chill, just do. It's okay.
No, but the egoistic mind is very strong. I mean, it is a strong way of talking. And look at Trump. Worst example. But forceful and so sure in his wrongness.
Highly focused, you could say. Right? He is consistent in what he is doing.
Conditioning is very strong. That's what from childhood ambition and all those conditioning. So if you were just left alone and found your own way, it would have been natural.
Father, is it because the silence that you exhibit, is it because you realize everything is okay?
Right now it's only because I don't want to make any political statement on the broadcast.
No, I wasn't actually referring to the very current silence, but generally when you're saying you're okay, it's fine. Is it that the Gurus are silent because they've realized everything is fine, even the egos?
It's fine. Everything is fine, yes. Even that which seems so not fine in the moment, you see. That's what, like how she started, no? Today she said that this Guru Kripa Kevalam to me means that everything ultimately will work out for my good. And that's why I said that even Bhagwan said ultimately everything will be set right. You see? In the end everything works out. So, yes.
During the time that when you were walking us through the sensations that we were feeling, body and so on, it immediately occurred to me that I believed I was the body.
Yes.
And then I started questioning, then there's so many beliefs that we're applying. That means everything that we are saying or expressing is it's a belief, and then only one, therefore logically I was concluding there's only one true, everything else was a belief. Everything else was was consciousness believing.
Actually, the funny thing in this is that you can believe only a concept. You see, you cannot even believe a sensation. You see, so we club a set of sensations in a way, like mentally put them together, this, and give that the label body. You see?
Yes.
You see? So it's just like we take a set of perceptions, brown door or brown color, steel handle, hinges, you see, and we give it the name door. You see, it's a set of perceptions, sensations. But inherently in them there is nothing to believe or not believe in the perception. You see, it is only the label that gets our belief. You see, so when we say I was believing I was the body, which the mind uses the evidence, which is the experience of these sensations, gives that the label, this notion. You see, and that you can believe. Without that notion, there is nothing to believe or not believe. You see. Therefore, to remain in the unborn is more natural. See? Because it is not in opposition to any perception. You see? It is only when the notions are applied to these perceptions, then we start accepting them. You see? Do they become identity? You see? If you didn't have this label that this is body and body is me, you see, if you didn't have these two notions, for example, body and me, then
you've got to like combine a couple of beliefs together for something to be true.
It's all just words leading to other words, leading to other words, leading to other words, leading to other words. You see? So at the root is the I thought, in a way, you see? The fundamental thought. You see? But as you let go of this, making this reference, you see, then all of this house of cards, it falls apart. You see, but this is a useful tip, which is that you cannot, there is nothing to believe in the perception itself. You see, like just perceive. Just perceive. Usually I do that. You're perceiving this. You see, what are you believing about it? Yeah? These are just notions on top.
Yeah.
It's not written here, it's there, or nothing. It's not saying anything. It is just being perceived. You see? So this narrative layer comes on top, like the subtitles of the movie. You see? And only those can be believed. You see? If I say believe this, what would you say to that? Or don't believe this? You see, even if you say don't believe this, you will say, I have the belief it is not there now. I am trying to believe it is not there, but that is still a notion. It is not this.
It's an activity,
You see, it's the layer of translation that you put on top of this. Believe this.
To do.
Yeah, okay, do it. Believe it. What would you do?
To combine the colors I'm seeing, the you.
Okay, believe this, but don't think about it. You see, because you can only believe concepts, notions. Inherently, in even perception, there is nothing to believe or not believe. This is what I'm trying to point you to. It is not in the content of your perception itself. It is only the interpretation of it, the judgment of it, which gets our belief or not. You see? It is meaningless to say, believe this or don't believe this. You see? Meaningless to say because there's all the body. The set of sensations there. Believe it. You see? What will you believe? You see? You see? Only when you apply a notion on top, and the minute you call it body, you see, then you start applying this notion. I am this body, that one is that body, you see, this kind of thing. But all of this is absent from just perception.
Where is the I thought coming? I mean, if you believe it's a body, it's all right. But when he says my body, but there is no I which we perceive or something. Where
that is the Maya. No? That is the point of ignorance. That is the point of just God picking up the play. You see? And He picks up this thing which is just not there. If it was substantively present somewhere, then you could say, okay, here it is, this is where you root it out from. You see? But it is not actually to be found anywhere. This I, this me, this mine.
Like you just said, Father, so it isn't as if something which was non-existent now became a me. So only that which existed, that consciousness or being, that itself has the power to imagine itself as something. So it's not creating something new other than itself in a way. I mean, it really struck me when you said that, because we keep, somebody has this notion that I have to make this ego go away, because as if it's
Yeah.
something which needs to go away.
Yes.
But if
It's as if it is something that is here,
yeah, or here, so that it
which
will
is also
go.
his point.
Yeah,
that there is no
exactly.
such,
Yeah.
you know, like
So
it's just a thought. In a way, when we say I thought, it is just a thought.
Yeah.
But thought, usually you're saying it's sensation somewhere in the mind. So I thought is also a sensation, or
It's like the fundamental premise of most thought. You see, if you look at most thought, what is the fundamental premise? It is this me, this like me. Like I am seeing this, or I am
so the
liking
underlying
this.
thought behind all thought is this is my thoughts.
This is what was implied in that. This is what is implied, that there is a me who this thought belongs to. So the I thought is pointing to this premise of limited existence, limited identity, which is inherent in, which is presumed in most thought. Like I don't like this, or I am understanding this, or I feel like I am getting to freedom. Who is that I being pointed to? That I is just a thought.
The thought of being a separate individual entity.
Yeah, which is implied. Like when you say any of these statements,
yeah.
you see, that I am getting this, I want freedom, I don't want, you see, I woke up at this time. You see, in all of this is implied which I am. That I is just a thought. You see, I am feeling sleepy. I am really understanding today. You see, look at all of this stuff. You see, I am so happy with my life. I am so unhappy with all of this. I is just a thought. That's the I thought, at the premise of all of this.
There is no one inside of us.
Huh?
There is no one inside of those
Yes,
bodies.
yes. There's nobody inside this body. Yeah. That's why Guruji sometimes, this is like dead man walking or something.
Okay.
It's crazy, no? We have become crazy, no?
Yeah, yes. You mean before satsang or after? Both ways. Either way is okay.
Before satsang.
It is insanity. It is insanity. But to that, this seems like insanity. To this, that seems like insanity.
I understand both parts.
Huh?
Both sides I understand.
Both sides. Yeah. It can happen to us on a weekend also. That we get so caught up in something, you see, and our limited identity, that it will seem like, what do I do in satsang? It's pure insanity. This is real life, man. I've had people leaving satsang because of that. Because on a weekend some things happen, and they're just like, oh, all of this is just, insanity. I have to get back to the real world. You see? This kind of thing, and you get caught in that notion, and it can seem to play out that way. And then we're sitting here, and especially in the time where we're feeling so open, empty, all things are just coming and going, it's so clear that there is nobody here who's this way or that way. You just feel like, wow, look at the world, that's just insanity. So it's a question of the 6 blindfolded men with the elephant. It's just a question of perspective.
Can I just ask some crazy stuff?
Just one thing before that, which is a helpful fatherly tip, is that what I've found in this life more and more is that if somebody is strongly holding on to a particular perspective, you see, like they are convinced it's a pillar or a rope, you see, then you don't have to necessarily shake them and say, no, it's elephant, can't you figure out, I took out my blindfold, this is what happened. You see this guy? Because like Plato's allegory of the cave, the one who steps out and sees the sun first is momentarily blinded by it, but then he gets used to it and realizes this is the real world. You see? Then he comes back to the cave. And he starts saying all of this, that you guys, you're not seeing, these are your shadows, this is not the real you. and they don't like him at all. He was expecting that they will treat him like a messiah or something and say, thank you for showing us the light and freedom. He was actually attacked, you see, because we just have this particular perspective of what reality is. So you don't have to, I mean, whatever way plays out is fine, but just a tip is to not maybe force people out of their shadow perspective or something like that. What is the crazy thing you wanted to ask?
No, I was just saying that, like, when we say that we don't put a label, no label.
Yeah.
So with this door thing, I was just, I mean,
door thing.
This.
Yeah.
So when the door, if I was not even to say the word door or anything, but this thing moved, within this experience, there is less sound. Okay. Within, if I didn't make a single.
If you didn't label it door, and when you're walking through the door and somebody pushed it,
yeah, okay, maybe
then it would not hurt you. You're just like the Matrix.
Okay,
it's possible.
That was possible. But what I meant was sound-wise, like when it shuts, there is within experientially, in perception and sense, whatever, there is less sound. Is there not? I mean,
all of these things are also
so that's also
amplified by notion in a way. You see, it's
Yeah?
in a way, but also let me tell you one thing. Sometimes I notice here, sometimes like we are close to a hospital, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is, the video might be showing. So we are close to this hospital, Manipal hospital. So what happens sometimes is that the ambulances come. Not sometimes, quite often. You see? And for us sitting in the Satsang hall, it can feel like such a loud sound, water disturbance, you see, things like this. But for those who are sitting in the ambulance waiting to get to the hospital, they must be hoping like if the sound was louder and everybody would move quicker so they can get the patient to the emergency room. So all of this is also a question of perspective, isn't it? Like what is loud or not loud is what we set the benchmark at. You see, if we were in that ambulance like having a heart attack or something, like come on guys, bring it louder, play it louder, whatever you do to that sound. But because we feel like we are in satsang and we are here to be in silence or something like that, then it's a disturbance. So what is it actually inherently? Nothing. Not either.
Father, are you aware of the one who is having a heart attack in the...
No, I'm just...
No, but it's just a question that arose.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, are you aware of...
I'm just aware of what I perceive. There's nothing beyond that.
Sometimes more, right?
But even that would be a perception, you see, sometimes. So that's why I answered it in
that's so...
Or physically, or...
I mean intuitively. You're asking whether there's something known intuitively.
No, as awareness,
as objectively.
Awareness you are.
Yeah. As that awareness, I can say that only what I perceive exists.
And what do you perceive?
Right now I perceive this body in front, I perceive this body here.
And outside of this, do you perceive something else?
I perceive the sounds are coming.
Asking if he has X-ray vision.
He's not answering.
No, there's no answer. Nothing which you don't have.
As what?
Nothing that you... Absolutely same.
But you have stopped judging completely. You don't make any judgments.
No, completely like that. No, 100%. No, 100% like
99.
that. Because sometimes I still some judgment can come. Yeah. 99.987 774.
And the judgment happens.
But your mind is talking.
Times the judgment happens.
Does your mind talk anymore in the background? Like, or it's talking but you're just ignoring it?
It talks from time to time, but mostly it's let go and mostly it just comes and goes. Yeah.
Very soft.
Yeah, it doesn't seem this. Yeah.
It used to be loud, right?
Yes. Yes. very much so. I still have memory of those. And it seems like such a burdensome life to live. You see, constantly living with judgment.
Yes, ask us about.
You see, constantly this is right, this is wrong, this should be, this should not be, this is what you should do, this is what you should not do, go left, go right, don't do this, don't say this, order this, don't order this, have this for dinner, don't have. It's just like, and you live like that, yes sir, yes, yes, yes. It's just so easy. And but it doesn't seem like it's giving, it's just like, sometimes I give these examples, that as a kid, there was a lot of arrogance here, a lot of like specialness like that, outwardly very nice and polite and things, but a lot of this thing, like my mind was crazy. It was just like, I remember that one thought it gave me when I landed in Bangalore, 20 something years back. It's just like, I walked out of the airplane, looked at the city, and was like, one day you're going to be the king of Bangalore, just like this kind of thing. And I was a young 21-year-old or 22-year-old, so I have these thoughts, that you're going to have a software empire, have this, that kind of thing. And I was just like, nothing like this. It just got beat out of me properly. All these delusions got properly beaten up. And so it was like that. But I look back at those times, and in fact, I was very young, maybe 22 or 23, and at my work, and I met a very eminent one Bangalore person. Who I met him in the lift, and I'm saying to him, "Hi, I'm Tapan. You don't know me yet." I was like, who is this kid? And they gave him a job at IBM. This guy, very silly, pure silliness and arrogance playing from here. And so I just remember being so burdened by this ego, just like, so like, like this. But outwardly it's still mostly smiling, like nice and polite guy. Very, like, what did you say? Passive aggressive? Like, kind of like that thing, like very inwardly, but outwardly. So, but I look at that phase, and it's just so. And even worse, I guess I have to say, in a way, is the phase of being the spiritual seeker. You see, so like chasing this rainbow, called freedom, and especially experiences, and getting some experiences here and there, some light show, sometime. I think that is how it should be. Right? And then going to masters and pretending to be humble and polite, but actually feeling very special, actually, saying, I want it, man, I deserve it, but outwardly, please, master. Like this kind of thing. I remember those times where just so much dichotomy playing out. And one day like that, I remember going to the former head of the Chinmaya mission, and going to him and just wanting to show off, okay? Just talking to him about projection of the mind and why we can't build palaces for ourselves and this kind of thing. And I feel so stupid now. This kind of thing, it's just like so full of arrogance and specialness, and felt like I knew something and I got something in my meditation and experiences. This kind of full of all of this. But life is great because it slaps you out of this stuff. It just slaps it out of you in a way. Oh, in all ways.
Tell me about it, please.
Business going to
Oh yeah.
Relationship having so much challenge, because of all these things and every aspect. You see, every aspect of life which you thought like this, going. But I'm so grateful for all of this getting slapped out. So grateful for it getting slapped out. And still being open to that thing that because I never felt I was arrogant, so who knows, it might still be here that way. I mean, I was so arrogant. So the prayer is always like this, that it might be blind spot, please slap it out of me. Completely open, don't waste any time. Slap away. Guruji, grace, whatever name you want to give it. Like, this delusion is too burdensome to carry. It's just too so funny in a way that I said all that and said it's too much of a burden to carry, and yet somebody said, like Guruji said, like in India we have this concept, that after the body dies, then the first one you meet is your master, and then the master guides you through death and all of that. So suppose the death of this one happened like this, not like sleep state death, like if there is another death. And then Guruji comes and says, okay, that was life number 42, you did all right, but 43, just change a bit of this and like that, and I'll be fine. To come back and then be burdened and then to be unburdened again, it's fine. So it's a dichotomy in a way, because I can look back at that one and say, yo, wow, that one was very strange. And yet the aversion is not so deep that if it felt like, it was just like the play consciousness is playing with itself in this way, and there's another 100 million to go, fine. Because I know at the bottom of it, at the root of it, at the center of it, nothing really happened. Maybe nothing really affected anything in reality.
That's if you know that, then it still might come back 100 times. But if you don't know that, and then you come back, then you still...
Yeah, and yet that one doesn't leave.
Which one now?
The one who claims to know it doesn't want to come back.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. That one keeps coming back moment to moment with a fresh thought, with a fresh thought, with a fresh thought. Don't want to come back. Don't want to come back. You see? It's still, that one doesn't leave. It just keeps going. You see? That's the whole...
Okay, see, this is something actually that what you're saying.
Like, those who really know the truth that nothing really, happened to them in that way, can say, I don't mind 100 million more. You see?
Exactly.
But those who are saying, I don't want to come back, I've had enough of this, that same voice actually keeps coming back. It just keeps coming back.
Is there an I left which can or cannot come back?
Is there an I left which can or cannot come back, in the sense that play as consciousness, or...
so what is when you say I'm ready to come back? What is that I?
Yeah, it's the same being. If this sense I am has to pick up the notion I am something a few more times, it's fine. It is just notional, that's why. It's not truly existing. That's why nothing substantively actually happened. Yes.
So you have a choice.
Huh?
Nobody has a choice, right? You
Nobody
get the feeling, you feel strong, then you are humbled, again you climb, again it makes you fall down. Isn't it?
Yes.
So maybe the grace of Guru would help.
Yes.
Somebody you trust, you believe in sincerely, not just this.
Yes.
So he, through his grace, would help.
Yes.
But the effort should be there. Effortless effort.
Father, is it like this, like when you said, like, if life slept you and stuff, that, like, let's say, things, like you put effort, it fades, you put effort, it fades, it keeps like, you're like in this red rat.
Yeah. Rat race.
Red race thing, I don't know. In this
Red rat?
Rat, that's German, this thing.
Rat race.
Yeah, this wheel, red wheel. This thing. You're just doing it, you're not getting anywhere, and you're just
the rat
doing.
The hamster's wheel.
Yeah, this thing. And then like it's kind of frustrating, and you keep doing, and at some point you even drop your expectations because you think like, okay, the only thing is I can do, but I don't know because something else decides apparently. And at some point I just feel like I can't really change my behavior or something, some expectations or conditionings are still playing out the same way, but I just feel at some point it just exhausts itself. It just must exhaust itself.
Yeah.
It just exhausts itself.
Yeah.
So because I felt like I tried to change so many things, being on the Buddhist way and stuff before, and maybe slightly they changed, I don't know. But I don't feel I can really change it. So I just now I do. I just keep doing, I just keep watching, observing, and thinking it will just exhaust itself. It's super frustrating. I can't change it. At some point, it drops. Please. Is it like this? It's really, that's my Guru Kripa Kevalam that I'm holding on to. This, it will exhaust itself. Please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It works like this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, I'll completely contradict myself in 2 minutes, but for now, yes.
It's just a
Because
thought,
then
right?
otherwise that move would work. Like, what is the move I should make that I should be ultimately out of moves? You see? But so now my only move is Guru Kripa Kevalam. Does it work? Of course. But you want to be out of moves, no?
It will exhaust itself.
Yeah. That's sweet. Come.
Not pop so badly next Saturday.
Sumi,
Tomorrow.
I got a behavior note.
From?
You forgot to get your swim.
Yeah, that's Mama's fault, not mine. She literally said I forgot to send the mail. No, this other teacher was gonna give me one.
Nice.
Bhaya's gone.
Gone where?
GE.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to sleep.
Early. Okay. Okay, Cat wants to read a poem he wrote. Let's do that at the end. Okay, my dear, I've unmuted your mic. You can come.
You can hear me? I just want to say Satsang was so beautiful this morning. It just overall, in particular, I love you sharing your experiences. I just love that. When my sister was talking earlier, before she even spoke, I saw her picture. It just brought me joy. I don't want to butcher her name. I'm trying to find her now. Simran, okay. Before she even spoke, I just felt something with her, looking at her picture, seeing everybody this morning. I just wanted to say that part. I just saw her and just felt something, right? So when she spoke, I didn't see her image, and I was doing stuff around the house, and I felt something again. I felt a joy in just her speech, you know? And then I said, I told you about my mantras and my little things that I be writing and stuff. And I play a lot of that comes from inspiration from hearing stuff from you, hearing stuff from Muji, hearing stuff all the time. When she was speaking, I felt exactly where you were coming from. And I sing little songs to myself and little, I call them mantras or whatever. And I had a poem for you, which is for me and for us. I just felt it. So it's really short. And I'll read it to you, okay? Really short. I titled it Poem for Simran, whatever your name is, I'm sorry. All right, really short. All right. Nothing better than being with God. Stay in this place, just be, no prob. Nothing to fear, God is forever here. Omnipresence you are, shine on, God star. I hope you like it. I have little stuff like this all the time. There's one more that I want to share with you guys. Just a really short one that I just kind of just say in my mind because we were talking about it today. And it goes, in the end, it'll all be okay. That's the words I heard Ramana say. In the end, it'll all be okay. That's the words I heard Ramana say. And I just sing that to myself when I kind of go through it like how you, one more. And this is the sitting on the lap part. One second. I'll keep that one to myself for now. I'll keep that sitting on the lap one to myself for now. I'll share that one later. But I hope you like it. I love sharing with you guys. Okay. Just let you know, sister, I write music and stuff all the time. And when I develop this song, I'll send it to you right away. Okay. All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me share, Father.
It was very sweet. Thank you. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
Sadguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Guru Kripa Kevalam.